Så kan vi börja prata lite grann, va?
Ja.
Oh, in English.
Of course in English, that's where we're gonna go. So Ingo, we're here in Stockholm. It's a slightly rainy afternoon in late July. On Friday, you and I and a couple other people will be performing or DJing or doing stuff at a Wotever party during Stockholm Pride. And it so happens this Friday is the 10-year anniversary of Club Wotever, which is amazing. And I wanted to sit down with you and ask you, I mean, to begin with, like, why did you start Wotever in the first place?
Okay, Wotever started out of I need a place to go to, that sort of like drive, because it was me and some friends who kind of realized we couldn't go to the same events and all of us feeling sexy, attractive, flirting, but also making friends or networking or, hanging, because either someone was straight or someone was, a trans guy who were into guys, and someone was, a dyke who was into lesbians, So it was very hard for us to go to one place where we all had the same chance of pulling, literally.
Why do you think that was?
Because back in the days, 10 years ago in London, it was really segregated. Lesbians went to, their clubs, guys went to their clubs, and straights just went down to the pub. So, no, generalization like that. But so when I had a chance, because I was then working at Wotever, the bookstore, so it has a really big part of the history of Wotever was because I was at this gay bookstore, and there were these guys open up a wine bar nearby. So literally they came into the bookstore and said, hi, we just opened up this wine bar. If you ever want to come down after work, come and have a drink. And so I talked to them and said, this is a really nice place. Have you ever thought about having, outside promotions? And they said, you can try it if you want. So they gave me a Saturday, the 2nd of August in 2003. And so they gave me that a few weeks prior to that, and the name Wotever came from, during that time I was flying to Sweden, and the thing is, me myself is on the border of trans, swapping between male and female and things like that, and doing that quite proudly. And back then there was this, I was buying a coffee, and the coffee barista was saying to me, how can I help you, sir, madam, whatever, because he couldn't place me. And because I didn't give a nod or saying like, yes, I am a woman, or yes, I am a man, he kind of went, and when he said whatever, I kind of, you get the best ideas when you sleep and wake up in the morning and you think, that of course is the name of the club for all of us who are a little bit of everything, because then you can be straight, gay, lesbian, trans, woman, man, what the fuck, whatever.
I mean, clearly, since you've been running this show together with others for 10 years now, you could say you probably achieved some of your goals, otherwise you would not have continued. Is that a correct assumption?
Yeah, you know what, the first night was the only goal. We do this tonight and have a fun party, and then and then I did it with some friends, and in the end of the night we all had a really good night. I don't know if we all pulled, but but we had a really good, it has always been a big drive for Wotever. No, but it was a really good night, and we kind of like said, yeah, let's do it again. So then we did a second one, and I think then we realized that, oh my gosh, we're onto something, because there were not only our friends there were people we didn't know who they were, who came. And then, and then we did it once a month. And from the beginning, there were like a few things that was really important, that was also kind of like groundbreaking and new. It was, we happily took photos of each other and everyone in the club. Because before that, you were never allowed to take photos in any gay, LGBT venues or anything, because to accidentally out someone. So here we changed that.
This is before Instagram.
This was definitely before even before camera phones.
Yeah.
So so that was a new one, because what we sort of like, or what I thought was really important was, I'm coming from liking documentaries and all those things, and I was realizing, if we don't document our own reality, who else will? So we took photos, but then there was something else important as well that I was meant to say. Anyway, it flew away. What was the question?
You might get back to it while you sort of dig for that in back of your head. Related to the sort of the documenting of who is present at the club in the room, what I've always found really interesting and compelling to me as a regular club visitor, hobby DJ, been doing lots of various events and stuff in queer feminist, mainly Stockholm, for the past 10 plus years, is that there is a stark difference between the crowd at Wotever and almost any other place I will visit. And the difference is that there are few spots that I see such a multitude of physical manifestations, as in bar or club, whatever. People look really different.
Yeah.
In a positive way, obviously.
Yeah.
But why do you think you've managed to create such a space?
Because I think, over all these years, we have been so many people involved in doing this. We're saying this is a very organic come and go and put the time and effort in that you want. And all of us are different. We are different ages. There are different reasons why we're doing it, but we are also different bodies or genders or sexualities. And because we embrace that, or I embrace that, is because I would be bored if everyone looked the same or only wanted to sort of do the same things. That is not fun. So yeah, it's a really big thing for us that everyone is welcome. Doesn't matter, what background, body size, look, height, age. You have to be over 18 at most of our events, but then pretty much everything else doesn't matter.
So in trying to create such a space that is open in that way, have you encountered any recurring obstacles during this decade?
I can't say reoccurring, but it has always been really, really interesting. When people are first coming to whatever event, they always think it is, this is for me and my type and the people I like. So over the years, people have claimed it to be a gay club, a lesbian club, a club only for trans people, a club only for people from Sweden, or a club only for people who are over 50, or, people have claimed it as theirs, and it always takes them a few times to realizing it's quite much wider than that. And then they have to sort of like relax because, as I said, it's always really important for us who you can flirt with and be attracted to. And one sort of thing that I think is really unique is within our rules, actually. We have rules for the club or for whatever. It's actually saying flirt outside the box and you might go to heaven. It's meaning everyone is allowed to look each other in the eye and kind of like exchange, some contact with each other. By words, by just looking at someone, and then it doesn't matter what gender they have or genitalia or how they present themselves, and you might be surprised or all these things. So don't assume anything about anyone else, but allow yourself to look at people. And I think that is also very unique and special and make people feel welcome and safe, I would say, if they can take that.
So if you were to explain to someone who, say, is at Stockholm Pride, for example, for the second or third time, they've been out for a while, but they've been going to the regular club that's down the street that you're supposed to go to because, whatever gay guide you have in your back pocket tells you this is the place to go to. And then you say, so you should come to my club because this is what will happen. What would you tell them? How would you explain Wotever to someone who does not know what it is?
I know, that is really interesting because I think, what would I say? Come to Wotever because we pretty much all the time have amazing performers. We are really keen on having performance, and by performance for us is always really important, where performers who share something that is important to them. And then we're also dissing those sort of like, what should I say, sometimes quality control, because you don't have to be professional to be a performer at our place. But as long as you are honest with what you do on stage, you are welcome. So I would say to someone who didn't know anything about Wotever, come and see the performance, because as soon as you have seen a performer or an act or listen to music or dance together on a tune, you have connections with others, so you have something to talk about. You have experienced something together. So come to Wotever, because you are guaranteed to be talked to, and you are guaranteed to meet people that might become your friends. You are pretty much guaranteed to have really good music that is very varied, because the same with performance, we're also working with a lot of people playing music, and they are allowed to play music they like. They don't have to sort of follow some charts or lists or anything like that. They can just play music that they feel honest about. And therefore you can also always experience things and meet people who have the same taste in music. And we are very well known for having a kind of a very wide music policy, meaning it's different music from going to pretty much any other gay club in Stockholm, I would almost guarantee you.
I would agree with that.
yeah, because where do you hear, klezmer music alongside heavy metal, alongside Icona pop,
Exactly.
It is that mix.
I will say at least two of these three genres.
I know,
on Friday.
Me too. But that is what it is, yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, so with that specific, again, it's almost like it's sort of a queer performance open mic, but sort of staged so it fits together kind of thing. That's always been my impression, which is challenging, I would say, to some audiences, because they're not used to it. Audiences who go to clubs will be used to performances being put up at a club to be either a band playing a couple of their songs or a really sort of slick performance, or something that has to do with a sponsorship the club has, which could be basically anything. How do you make sure that the audience, like the crowd, is prepared to see, oh, here is some trance ukulele, and next up there will be a person in a wig telling funny stories for 15 minutes. How do you sort of prepare someone for that difference? Do you sort of verbally say, when the club opens, tonight this is what happens, and it might be different for you if you're here for the first time? Or do you just sort of put people in that context and make them understand that going out could be something different than what they're used to?
I think we put them in that, because you can never explain, because you never know what experience a person have when they enter the club. So, it would be kind of very hard work to trying to explain for everyone, because everyone has different sort of, frames of understanding or preference or, wants for a night out. But also, I think you are the host. We normally, when you're having a performance, you're having someone from whatever leading it by almost like putting the frame of the performance. So it's like, we are here giving this to you, but we don't expect you to just be an audience, because you are as important as the person on stage. So, but then we give that to people, and people can take it, and sometimes it takes a few times for people to dare letting their guard down.
Yeah.
But then when they do, they are automatically doing it to other newcomers. So it has become, as I said, a very organic way of welcoming people. Hugs, we're very, which is physical in our kind of like beings, and I think that is a generosity. And we are also most of the times we're actually doing free events. So the thing on Friday, it's free, and it's a very important thing for creating everyone have the same chance. That is also putting down boundaries. You don't have to be rich to come to our events. You don't have to be of a special class. You don't have to be, you don't have to fight to get in. You can come in, like, even if you are living somewhere where you're a refugee without papers, whatever, you don't have any money, but you can always come to Wotever when it's a free event.
Yeah, because per se there will be no list, there will be no entrance fee.
No.
The line will be for the coat checking.
Yeah, it's like a practical thing if there is a line.
If it's a rainy night, then you need to put up your coat, but that's about it.
And we also
so with that, would you say, and I'm guessing the answer is yes, but I would like you to talk a bit about that. That Wotever is also, it's a highly political event.
Oh yeah.
To organise and to attend a Wotever club. How important is that to you?
Very, because it is really important, equality, and everyone have the same chance. Hence the open door policy, hence the open decks, hence the open stage policy. Everyone can be part. And I think we all growing and learning and moving on by sharing.
Right.
Sharing is caring, as we say. Very American way, but sharing is caring, and it's sort of, and it always looks like that. People coming in, getting involved, giving back. People coming in, giving back. Things like that. And it is shit serious, and it's shit important, because if we didn't have that, and also as a comparison, because this is now the thing we're doing here in Stockholm on Friday, but in London and elsewhere we travel, we maybe sometimes are not free events, but then it is because we need to pay, because sometimes we have different levels of shows and things like that, and we have been doing this for such a long time, and we're still very kind of like much of sharing between each other, but sometimes we have paid events and paid shows, but that is because we then have to help the performers or people that are coming with special messages. So I'm not saying we do everything for free, because we're not, but it's very much giving back to the community what we're doing. So
but it also encourages performers to have, who have the, financially, whatever, ability to, if you don't feel that you perform at a Wotever club to get paid.
No,
to do what that's not why you're there. And if that's what you're looking for, you should probably find some other type of work, because that's not the point. As long as I see it. I was thinking about another thing that strikes me, with how you describe the interaction between audience and performer, whether it be a DJ or someone who sings or dances or does something else in physical manifestation to look at, is that since you do things that are so still, I would say, unorthodox in a club context, if people support that by immediately clapping hands, whistling, giving support to the person who is up there, whatever they might be doing, it sort of puts the audience also in a leadership role, because a leader doesn't necessarily need to be the person telling everyone this is a time and place to have fun. It might be the person who supports that message, and since that comes from the floor, so to speak, I would imagine that that's one of the reasons why I always feel that going to a Wotever club is different from any other outing experience that I will have. What would you say about that? Yeah,
I think you're totally right, because I think people feel seen. If they go home from a Wotever night, they know they have talked to people, they have been seen, they have been sort of like interacted with or met someone on the dance floor. It doesn't have to be big things or little things, but if you compare that to other clubs where you maybe are more incognito, you maybe don't know anyone. For instance, as we're working, especially in London. Here in Stockholm, I don't think it's a given, but also in London, it's such a big city. People are coming and going, and coming from other countries or places or cities, and need a new social network. Even if you may be an adult, how do you make new friends? How do you meet people? So you are used to going and hanging in a bar over a drink, but you maybe go home without talking to anyone or like chatting to anyone else than the bartender. But if you're leaving a whatever event, as you said, you have seen things, hence you have talked to people about what you have seen, you have shared it, you have given them, maybe the performer, your gratitude after, because that happens a lot. People going up to the person who have been on stage and saying thank you. As in, it's an exchange of, kind of energy or thanks. And so I think that is also different. You can go home and know that you have, hopefully have had a good time out.
So I mean, now it's 2013. We're celebrating 10 years or whatever. It's going to be a kick-ass night. I'm so much looking forward to this. I'm really glad I can participate. From an egoistic perspective, it's
so fabulous because
special.
You've been part of it since we started doing Stockholm.
Yes, I know.
And that is amazing.
It is very. It's touching to me.
So thank you.
Thank you for continuing. So I mean, in 2023, when I'm 40.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 20 when this first when I first got the opportunity to partake in this club as a visitor and at the decks. In 10 years from now, where do you think you will be with this?
Here in Stockholm or worldwide?
Worldwide, whatever. I have no idea.
No, because worldwide, this is why I'm saying that, because it is that big. Whatever Stockholm is, a small part of a really big umbrella called Wotever World. And Wotever World is mainly based in London, but from London we sort of going other places and pretty much literally doing other things like this. And we're spreading some sort of message. So to be a little bit serious, but at the same time, no, I'm not that big-headed kind of thing, is like, in 10 years' time, we're closer to taking over the world and changing the attitude to people.
That sounds like a fabulous thing. Also, like one of these things you should celebrate with a big party. Definitely. Every year, every night is a party. There was one happening in London last night, and it's sort of like as it does at least once a week, and it's sort of. So I've been in touch with the people who were there last night, and they're telling me what happened then, and it was really funny. And apparently, someone went up on stage and talked about decorating, decoration tips. Like how to paint your walls. Fabulous.
And why not? So in 10 years' time, I think we definitely are. Hopefully still around, hopefully still sort of happy and healthy and have more people with us and doing things, and it just continue. And there are always new people coming in, and we are mentoring young ones who are then taking over. It's a very intergenerational thing as well, what we're doing, that there are so many generations. We have in London, we have the age span is between 18 and 86 of our, regulars.
Well, that's just fantastic.
I love it, and many coming with either their parents or their children or, so people go out together as well.
That might be something in 10 years. I might bring on a kid.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, but now, we talked about it yesterday here at Pride, about the family structure, and because Josephine, who's one of the people running the Stockholm Wotever, she is someone who came to the first ever Wotever in London, so hence we also celebrating 10 years of friendship on Friday, and her daughter is now my grandchild, and it's the family is sort of like moving on, and it's not about blood, it's not about but it is just how we take care of each other.
That's fantastic. I mean, the best of luck to you. I know you're not going to need it because you're fabulous, but still, it's a nice things to say. And if you're listening before Friday, we look forward to seeing you Friday night. If you listen after Friday, we look forward to seeing you in another whatever context somewhere in the world in the near future.
Okay. Thank you so much, Viktor, for, taking part of this. Thank you for coming here and interviewing me. Because this is how we do things. We turn everything on the head.
No, of course. It makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I'll see you Friday.